Everyone, me and my classmate will tell you about some place in Brazil.
Cristo Redentor. El Cristo is located at the top of Morro do Corcovado in the Tijuca National Park. Christ the Redeemer is an Art Deco style sculpture with open arms in the shape of a cross, 38 meters high, the equivalent of a 30-story building. Of that total, 30 meters are equivalent to the monument, and the other 8 meters are equivalent to the pedestal. Its important symbolic value has promoted the pilgrims of the most devout Catholics, but it has also attracted the visit of tourists eager to unveil the mysteries of one of the seven wonders of the modern world. Advantage: you can appreciate the beauty of that beautiful statue, and you can also feed the macaques that are out there. Disadvantage: in times of COVID, there's poor organization. Many people gather, so it's impossible to stand in line. Sometimes the weather, like fog or clouds, cannot allow to observe the crystal raining dead springs.
The Iguazu Falls, also known as the Devil's Throat, is located between Argentina and Brazil. This is between Misiones province and the Paraná state. Uh, this place is famous to the amounts of falls around the whole area, which form almost a circle of falls with enough strength to actually destroy a lot of things, and it's pretty amazing to see. Also, in this border, it's very common to see people from Brazil, from Argentina, and from other visitors from other countries that go to this attraction to walk above the Iguazu Falls, and even to go on trips on the ferries that are surrounding the area. Also, some of the advantages that this place has, it's that it's very beautiful. It's very large, has a lot of things to do. You can take a helicopter ride, ferry trips. If you're on Argentina as well, you can also go to any casino. You can visit certain towns or surround this area, and well, taste any of the goods inside this area as well. Some of the disadvantages that this has is that even though the trip is very good, the place is very beautiful. It's quite expensive since it has a lot of visitors. It's very hard to find a place to stay, and even something really close can be more costly to the visitors, as well as since it receives quite a bit of visitors, it's very hard to get any or find any kind of entertainment that it's not scheduled ahead of time. As additional information from the country of Brazil, it's very known that there are several types of food that are very influenced by the African communities, the Asian community, which are basically the Japanese community. There's also influence from the Middle Eastern. So most of the food has variations of food from other places. One of these, four of these foods that are traditionally for dinners. It's for the feijoada, which is based on the African community. The vatapa, which is this is based from the Japanese community. The picanha, this is from Macau. This is from basically from Argentina, between Argentina and Brazil. It's a part of the cow that it's very rich on nutrients and very meaty. And there's the pato no tucupi. This is based on the African community as well. And for snacks, they also have four types of food, very quick and very tasty. One of them is the coxinha, which is it's something that has like a pyramid uh, shape. This is basically chicken that has been deep fried, but it's a different type of deep fried, not as greasy. And thus the sfinia. The sfinia is basically it's very it, it looks like an empanada from Argentina, but it has a triangular shape. instead and usually only has meat inside. Uh, this other plate is called the Casquinha de City. This looks like an empanada because it's done using the a part of the crab, the exterior part of the crab, and it's filled with crab meat and some other condiments, strides, and this kind of food to make it more tasty. This is commonly seen on the beaches. And finally, there's the pão de queijo. The pão de queijo, it's one of the more traditional foods there. It's more like a snack. It was served during the slavery times. It's basically bread and cheese all together. They make it in a way that when it's already cooked, the center is filled with cheese that has become liquid, while the outside is very hard.
The gates are pools formed in the middle of coral, 6 kilometers from the shore. And catamarans live from the beach, and during the navigation, the instructor explained that this is an area of environmental preservation, so no fines or souvenirs are allowed, which is an advantage for the natural area. As if it were a parking lot in the middle of sea, the catamarans stop next to each other so that tourists can get into the water with visors, snorkels, and be part of this silent universe full of life for an hour. It is essential to plan it because a few days a month the low tide occurs at night or at dawn, and that day there is no trip. Next to the boats you will see children selling bolinho de goma, a typical pastry of the area that is handmade in the neighboring beach of the São Bento. Nearby in Japartinga, families can be seen fishing on the shore, the winding of mollusks, and the men in the water look for octopus and lobsters.
Now I'm going to tell you about Morro do Açúcar. In the Guanabara Bay, there is a neighborhood of Urca located in the city of Rio de Janeiro. You can find a Morro do Açúcar, or in English, Sugar Loaf Mountain. It is a mountain in the shape of the peak without vegetation, with rise directly above the sea as part of peninsula that juts into the Atlantic. To get to the peak at the mountain, you have to go in a cable car. You have to take two different cable cars to get there. The price to get one cable car for adults is 110 reals, and dollars will be $20, and for children student it's and over 60 years old, 55 reals. It will be at $10. It is a disadvantage if you are a large family. It will be a lot of money. And to get to the cable car, you can go by bus, which is 1513. You can also go to the taxi, but you must take in mind that this will be more expensive. This is a disadvantage if you don't have much money to use taxi. The best time to visit it is in twilight, when the sky is covered with a warm sun with a crystal in the background over Corobado Mountain. Arriving 1 hour before sundown would be an advantage to have a good sight and appreciate the view. Another disadvantage is that the cable car leaves every 20 minutes. The disadvantage is that this was before. Now with the COVID, it leaves every time. 13% of the capacity is filled.
Botanical Garden of Sao Paulo. The 36-hectare Botanical Garden is located within the Ipiranga Fuentes Provincial Park, Parco do Estado. The Sao Paulo Botanical Garden has more than 45,000 specimens of flowers and trees spread over a very extensive territory within the city. Advantage: it is a place away from the noise of cars where many couples or families take the opportunity to spend their free time, or organize picnics. Disadvantage: public transport.
Sao Paulo Art Museum. The building of the Art Museum of Sao Paulo, known as MASP, is one of the major works of modern architecture in Brazil, one of the icons of the New Wall of the city. It was designed by the Italian architect, nationally Brazilian, Lina Bo Bardi, in 1958. Being his most important work, the school were open mass engraving, painting, industrial design, sculpture, ecology, photography, cinema, gardening, theater, dance, and even fashion. The historical gallery was complete by works by French sculptor Degas, Van Gogh paintings, Velázquez, Renoir, Goya, Titian, and Picasso, among other artists. Pietro Maria Bardi, born between 1953 to 1947 in Europe. The advantage: tuitions are free, half price to students, the building is worth admiring, many works of art to see, and the disadvantage: long line to enter. The museum is located in an area that is too busy. Lots of people inside the museum. It built to 1956 to 1978.